Hi guys, happy Saturday. Super random. Do you guys remember when I used to do Saturday morning lives? Um, it wasn't for a super long amount of time that I did the Saturday morning lives, but it was for a good few months, I want to say, when COVID really hit last year and we pulled cards, we had conversations, we went really deep on some certain you know, thought processes and things that we were going through and growing through. And so it's been a really long time since I've done a live. And honestly, to be able to express is a form of therapy for me. And not necessarily in the beginning, but in the beginning of a growth period, a healing period, or a breakthrough period. The expressing really comes when I'm like right about to breakthrough, or I'm in my breakthrough, meaning I've learned some sort of lesson, I've gained some sort of clarity, I've healed some sort of wound, right? And so that is the state that I am in now. So if I get emotional on this live, it's all good, right? It's all good. So anyway, so I titled this What Really Matters. So without really getting into the details of so much of me and what I was going through, because something I've been posting a lot lately is everybody has a story, and so it's not really what I'm going through that matters, because I've got great friends right now, close friends of mine right now that are in their own, they're in their own story right now, right, in their own breakthrough process right now, and their things are very, very different than mine, right? Some of their things I'm like a-okay about, right? And vice versa, some of the things that they're growing through, or the things that I'm growing through, they're like, girl, like, what's so hard about this, right? And that's what's so important, I think, for us to really remember compassion. And this is a lesson for me inside of everything else, is to continue to have compassion. And what I was really telling myself during this time is like, maybe you're not compassionate enough, like maybe you're too hard, maybe your heart is disconnected, um you know and what I really realized is that, and this came to me today, right? Today, is that compassion is not a pass to be less than your best. Let me say that one more time. Compassion is not a pass for you to be less than your best. What does that mean? To me, what that means is, and I've never seen this anywhere, so if it's been a quote before, awesome. But because I was having this real hard battle of, I think I'm a very compassionate person, but I'm also that person, that friend that will risk your friendship to tell you what you need to hear, not you what you want to hear. I'm also that person that is so passionate about their path and their purpose and their vision that it's not that I'm not focused on so much of the external little things here and there that many people do focus on. And so there can be a disconnect, right? And so as I'm extended compassion towards me, some of the best support, some of the best friends that I've had during this time, and really at this moment right now, there's one that has really been at that peak level of showing me immense compassion. But what's up, you guys? But not giving me a pass to be less than my greatness, not giving me a pass to just become my emotion. So something I like to share, or I like to use a lot, is that it is okay to feel what you feel. it is okay to have emotions around certain things, situations, circumstances, or maybe just you have emotions and you don't even know where it's coming from or how to explain it, right? It's okay to have the emotions, but what's so super crucially important is you do not become those feelings. You do not become those emotions, meaning that they have taken over you so much that you end up making choices or taking action, or the lack of taking action, because you have let yourself become your emotions or become your feelings. But it is important to feel them, and because they're there for a reason, for a message. They're there to bring awareness to a wound or a samskara that you get to heal. They're there to provide you clarity of maybe what's around you that you need to let go of, or what you are distancing yourself of that you actually really need and you're afraid to ask for. There's the emotions and the feelings are here to bring awareness to you. They're here to teach you something, but they can also be used to deter you if you allow them to become you, right? So I would say it's important to feel the feelings, but do not let them become you. And so if you're the type of person like myself, entrepreneur, right? And not just an entrepreneur, but an entrepreneur through purpose. It's different. You have rituals, you have a structure, you have a flow, you have a routine. And when your feelings and emotions have become you, you know that they have when you are thrown out of your routine, right? So that happened to me, and it happens to me often. So when I say don't let it become you, I'm not speaking from the place of perfection. I'm speaking from the place of realization, right? So with that being said, to me, I believe the power is in how quickly you can get yourself back to routine, all the way to the point where eventually you will never fall out of routine. And so when you have those friends that show you compassion, but ask you the questions or hold you accountable to having the reflection or doing the personal development or getting up into your routine, and they have those tough conversations, or they continue to follow up with you. Hey, just a reminder to do this. Hey, just a reminder to answer these questions. Hey, just a reminder to listen to this. Hey, just a reminder to keep showing up. Those are the people that are helping you get better and better and better at bouncing back when your emotions have become so much of you that they've taken you out of your routine. So it's about shortening it, right? Sometimes it would take me out of my routine for months, right? Then weeks, right? And in this time, as far as where I'm at right now, as I was expressing earlier, coming back into my routine just barely, right? Like day 1, right? From a time that was challenging, from a time where I allowed feelings to become me that took me out of my routine. It's now, when I got back on the routine was Thursday when I drew the line in the sand. And has it been perfect since? No, but every day I have stuck to something that I wouldn't have done a few days prior. And so, that looks like about a week and a half, right? Or almost 2 weeks. So when it went from months to weeks to now a little less than 2 weeks, that's growth, right? So there's compassion to myself, and there's compassion to those people in our lives, those mentors, those friends that extend compassion to you, but still hold for you to do the things that are going to charge you and support you and nudge you towards your healing and your breakthrough, right? So I was asked these questions and then held accountable to answering them. And it was basically, the question was, what's your bucket list before you go? And for me, I've always thought about a bucket list, like, where do I want to travel? What do I want to own? What do I want to have? Right? What does my lifestyle look like? And so I was like, I don't really have that. Yeah, there's countries I want to go to, absolutely, and I want to have those experiences but to be honest, in my present moment right now, if I never did those things, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm going and there was nothing. I didn't get I missed out on so much. What you don't know, right? And so there's two ways to look at that perspective. So, he was like, well, okay, so but if it's not things, then there's gotta be a list. There's gotta be an answer to that question. And so when I really thought about it, there's a few things that I wrote down. 1, be happy and at peace completely. 2, freedom of choice, which means freedom of any concern with time or finances. Having a legacy, a business, an investment that I can pass forward to generation over generation. And to marry my best friend. So I just want to go through some of these from my perspective. Obviously, this is my perspective, but I ask you the same question, what really matters to you? What do you want to be able to say about your life or your current lifestyle when it's time for you to go? And it's not the, what can I have? It can be the things, the places you want to travel and what you want to have and all of that. But for me, it's how do I want to be feeling in the present moment, no matter where I'm at. That not the things that I own or the places that I travel to that give me happiness, but I am happy right now. I'm happy right now with who I'm with, who I'm surrounded by, my peace and my healing within myself. So being happy and at peace for me is being completely healed, like never triggered by being impatient, never triggered by even physical pain, never triggered by other people's reactions and responses, right? Never devaluing myself based on other people's opinions. There's so much, you guys, that we're triggered on that even the most healers of the healed, still have work to do. And when I've been able to have an incredible opportunity to work with some incredible, spiritual healers, spiritual guides, shamans, life coaches, and they'll all say the same thing. It is a lifelong journey, right? But I know for a fact, because I've experienced it, that there's a level of, yes, there are things that are happening, right, that you may not like and that may trigger you to an extent. But again, never allowing your feelings and your emotions to become you. So to be able to be at peace no matter what. Freedom of choice, meaning no concern with time and money. So for me, money matters. You guys, money matters. Let's stop having these really awkward conversations. It's like you're either on two sides of the spectrum, right? There's people in my life that I see right now that say it's not about the money, it's about the purpose, but then they spend their entire time working on how they can make quick cash. Okay, so money is important because it creates the opportunity to not add a stress that's unnecessary, right? And so for me, freedom of choice means having financial and time freedom. Financial freedom for me is, yes, I want to earn at a high income, but that also ties to the business and the investments that I get to have that's able to be paid forward, so that I don't continue to recreate this cycle of you have to grind and hustle so hard every hour and day of your life and miss out on life and miss out on your kids and miss out on experiences and miss out on traveling and miss out on memories and miss out on joyful moments. because you're just grinding to make ends meet. And then once you have a career, you still, like in our family, it's like you could be making a lot of money and be successful. We have some doctors, we have like a couple doctors, right? Engineers in my family, like architects, right? That, because of what they saw when they grew up, they are making incredible money, but they seem to always still be missing out on life or picking up another thing to make more money. And it doesn't make sense to me. For me, I want to make a high level of income, yes, to never have to have the stress and to know I can leave something behind, and to know when I want to travel with my freedom of time, that I don't have to be concerned about the money that's in the bank, or taking from the money that's for the future, or taking from the money that's for the children, or having to cut down on having the full experience when I go to Brazil and when I go to Australia, right? And to not have to worry about what I leave behind, that I have to check in, that I have to make sure it's okay, that I have to make sure that things are running smoothly, that I want to be stress-free, concern-free. And I know to many people, that's like, girl, you're tripping. But my boy Ross, Rich Fit Media, said it the best. I saw his video this morning and I was like, I needed that. Because I used to always say, it's the crazy ones that think that they can change the world. So count me in. Call me crazy. Because I'd rather get up every day in alignment with that belief than getting up every day in alignment with, I ain't worth nothing and I can't make a change. That's when we become the robots of the world. That's when we become the zombies of the world. Right? So that's what matters to me. That's what matters to me. So it's not about the money. I have a reel that I did the other day that I haven't posted yet, because us boss babes, we create our content in our increments of time, right? But it says something like this. It was a motivational, one of the reels from the motivational stuff that are super dope on here. And he said something like, something about people want to say it's not about the money, but you can't pay your kids' bills, or something about, I'm gonna mess this whole thing up. But basically it's like, people want to say it's not about money, but you can't buy stuff for your kids. You can't buy things for anybody with legacy, but you can with the currency. Now, the beautiful thing about our world today, I don't care what business you go into, this is not a plug to join my team, but if you want to, you can, okay? So, I don't care what you go into in our world today, okay? There are so many opportunities where you can have both legacy and currency. Don't turn a blind eye to it. Okay? So that's what's important. Money is what creates the experiences, and money is also what can create the problems. I'd rather have the money for the solutions. Also, many that know me, giving is big. Giving is a part of me, whether I freaking want to do it or not. I always end up in that space, right? My team name, Live to Give 24, right? My Instagram name, Go Giver Nas, way before I even knew about the book, The Go Giver, okay? So for me, it's also to be able to give back, not only just for my family and generations to come and all of that, and it's also to be able to, if there is, a relief program somewhere, right, that I can go contribute to that. And just not ever have to check to see if I have it in order to do what I want to do with it. And I also know that my heart is in the right place when it comes to that. People are like, what kind of house do you want? I'm like, I honestly think that I like being in like sky rises. Like I'm good if I don't own. Maybe that's not the investment I pass on. Or maybe I invest and I rent out and that's the investment I pass on from my family, but that's not what I need my money for me. What kind of car do you want, Nagin? For years I'm like, I'm good. I could have millions in the bank. And yeah, do I think there's a lot of cars out there that are sexy? That's not what gets me up and gets me going to go earn my income. You know? So I'm gonna have a sexy car, don't you fret. But that's not what makes me tick. You know, that's not my why. You know, don't put stuff in front of me. It's not gonna make me go. So that's another piece of what I had said, what I want to have or what I want my lifestyle to be like before I go. Okay, so the freedom of choice, the legacy. The last one is marry my best friend. So this was a really good conversation piece. Well, it wasn't even a conversation. It was just really me expressing my reflection. By the way, this is our beverage mix. The Wild Berry is 15 grams of protein, no sugar. It tastes like Kool-Aid, and I'm getting my protein in right now. I'm getting my snack in right now. I talked about. And P.S. It like literally makes me feel like I'm drinking like my favorite sour candy. Anywho. Okay, so marry my best friend. So what does that mean? So I'm gonna read some of the things I listed off here, and then my Gabby self will elaborate. Always being authentic with the person that I'm with. Nobody but myself. I am the goofiest, the freaking quirkiest, the dorkiest. Like, you know, I love to dance. I love to be goofy. I love to speak my mind. I'm super passionate, right? I'm direct. I like change. You know, I like to do things. I like to be chill. I like my solitude. I like to be all up under you. I get to be me. Okay? And you get to be you. And being able to know what are the love languages and care about it. You know, what are the triggers and care about it. You know, mutual love, mutual respect. Like truly my best friend. If you think about a best friend, I've had guy best friends, right? That attraction wasn't there, but that friendship was, there was no concern about having to put on a show because you don't care about that other piece. And that's exactly what I feel as though the person that I'm going to be with gets to be and gets to also experience on the reciprocation of the other side, right? Completely full personalities. Completely full personalities. I know what it feels like to feel like I have to hold back parts of myself, right? Whether I feel like it's going to be laughed at or it's going to be received in the wrong way, intimidating, or like I'm better than you. No. Like I don't think I'm better than anybody. Right? I just know my worth as I want you to know yours, right? And I also know my strengths as I want you to know yours and exercise them. That's just what it is. It was just never really about like, I never really imagined like, oh, my wedding and the colors and my dress and all that. Yes, again, like the fancy car, you know, and all that. Yes, awesome, cool. You know, it'll be cool to make all that magic happen, but it's just not about that for me. It's not something that I fantasized about, you know? I fantasized about joking and laughing and dancing and going to my best friend and being able to talk about everything and like being that couple that was truly like, I'm not going to you because I feel like I have to. I'm going to because you're the only one I want to go to. There's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference between a want and need and an availability. Huge difference between a want, a need, and an availability. Mutual love, mutual respect. We already talked about that. I know that I'm in the highest vibration of self when I am powerfully and positively connected with people. Now, I've also been at a very, I think my highest vibrational self was when I started my journey, my healing journey, where I started to go to yoga, consistently learn yoga for the first time, and then go and then start to learn about it, through my own experience and what I was healing and what I was letting go of and what I was becoming aware of. Yoga was such a powerful spiritual journey for me. And at that time I was doing all of that alone. All of it alone. And I had my corporate America job. I'd get up for the 5:30 a.m. class. I'd have my corporate America job. I would get my workouts in. I would eat my healthy meals. I was working on mindset. That's when I was introduced to my silent mentor, Dr. Wayne Dyer. I swear by Wayne Dyer. I literally think he is just God sent, as many other people are on this planet, right? He's just my guy. Hi. So when I was taking that journey, I was by myself all the time, other than my hours at work, right? But on my journey, I was here by myself, all alone. Cut out my circle. I stopped partying. I made a drastic change like this, okay, by myself. And that was for a few years. And I was in a very high vibrational state. And so when I say that I know that I'm at my highest vibrational state when I'm positively connected with people, at that time, people was finally connecting with the real me. The real me, which also brought me in connection to God, my source, right? Our source. And that was a relationship. That is a relationship. That's why it's not isolation. Isolation is not good, right? That's not good. That idle time is the devil's playground. Right? Isolating yourself, that's a dangerous space to be in. But having solitude time to be with yourself, to connect with yourself, is really also your connection and your relationship with God. Okay? And so that's when I was at my highest vibrational self. Now, the other side of that is I'm also people connected. And so being at a synergetic, positive connection with people, high vibrational self, right? And so on the opposite side, when that's not happening, it's very friction in my energy. It's I don't know how to explain it. It's very heavy and strenuous. So when I say marry my best friend and who that person is, I almost cannot put into words the feeling that I anticipate feeling on like what that feels like, what that synergetic connection feels like, because it's that triangle, right? It's my relationship with God, and then it's my relationship with that person, their relationship with God, and their relationship with me, and it's synergetic. And that's what I see. That's what I anticipate. And those are the things I want to experience before I go. Being completely at peace, right? Being completely worry-free, zero concern of time, space, money. Leaving legacy and business and investments behind so that I can change the generational curse, not of just accomplishing myself, but also passing down things that alleviate recreating the story of you have to grind every day and every hour and miss out on life just to make money, to either have things or make ends meet. And even when you have a lot of money and you're super successful, you keep recreating that story and you figure out ways to spend your money to put yourself in that situation because you have no idea what it looks and feels like to be financially free. I don't know what that looks and feels like. I am determined to get there before I go and pass on something that will break the curse before the birth. Right? and marry my best friend because of the feeling that I know I get to feel that has that high vibrational connection when you are connected to someone, your companion like that. So in this time, these are the questions that, a great friend of mine and mentor of mine held me accountable to answer, even when I said I can't answer those questions. And then I listed them. He's like, voice it. I can't voice them because I can't even connect with them right now. That's the space that I was in, talking about these things, right? Okay. So in this process and having the friend that holds you accountable to call you forward, that extends compassion but does not mean it's a pass to be less than your best, with the accountability, is the most special people to have in your life. I'm on live, y'all. With the blood. Okay. So in this time that I've had, right, I've been able to reflect on those questions, and there's just a couple other things that I want to share with you guys that I'm learning, that I'm getting clarity on, that I'm experiencing again, because clearly I didn't learn it the first time well enough. Purpose gets me up. You guys know that I'm a new full owner of Feel Good Nutrition, our smoothie and energy bar here. Me and my business partner and amazing best friend, Alicia Padilla. Just sit on that for a second. We own a brick and mortar smoothie bar together, and we are best friends and love each other to death. Wow, that's a blessing. And that is why my purpose gets me up. When I was going through this hard time and I had to go to my job, when I was working at corporate America, you guys, there was a time I remember I hit so rock bottom, I didn't go to work for like a week and a half, and I was an executive director. Because I couldn't get out of bed. That wasn't enough to get me up out of bed. Your purpose gets you up. And because it is a brick and mortar, and it wasn't me working from home and creating my own schedule, because it's a brick and mortar with an opening hour time, unlocking the doors for people to come in, it's what got me up. And it was also my one and only happy place. Man. If there's anything I can provide you when we talk about taking on business opportunities where you can have the currency and the legacy, and to give you something to wake up every day that's your one and only happy place sometimes, that's why you do it. That's why you take on entrepreneurship. That's why you stretch. That's what they mean when they say do what you love and you never feel like you're working a day in your life. It's work. I'm working. But God bless that business for giving me a reason to get up every morning, because my purpose is to serve, is to give, is to brighten people's day. That doesn't mean that you just get up to pour from an empty cup. No, you also have to know that you got to fill your cup, and not just know the concept, but practice the concept. Right? I had to make sure that I was listening to my personal development in the morning before I went. If there was anything else I didn't do, it was not going to be that. So, purpose gets you up. When your business is your passion and your purpose, it is your earthly savior. I pray that you all have that. Your circle matters. That's the other thing I want to make sure that I share with you guys. Your circle matters. They will either limit your beliefs or they will empower them. They will either end up lowering your standards or they will force you to hire them. And this is so important because it could be some of your closest, most amazing, most incredible friends, but if they are not on your wavelength, they will not understand where you are at, and they will only point fingers and blame, and that is not healthy. And it's nobody's fault. This is me. Change a life, change a life, change a life, change a life. Show you the way, bring you to the place, give you the rituals, give you the steps, give you the access. My work is done here. I must now go help another person because I'm one of the crazy people that thinks they can change the world. This is not against anybody. It's for everybody. So your circle matters. Because they'll give you the strength when you don't have it. And they'll have you answer the questions that you don't want to answer. And they'll show you compassion, but they will push you forward. And they will higher your standards. They will teach you to expect more out of yourself. They will challenge you to stretch your capacity. Or they will limit you. And by the way, not on purpose, you guys. This is not a directive to any one person or place or thing, right? This is just general learnings and concepts that you'll hear in many other places, not just from me. Never on purpose, especially the people that you love and care for and you know they love and care for you, never on purpose, right? But you have to be aware of that. You have to be aware where the vibrations are met and when the vibrations are not on the same frequency. And you have to be willing to take the hits to continue to vibrate at your level, to do your work. The second thing is personal development matters, personal development matters, personal development matters, personal development matters, personal development matters. It matters. When you wake up in the morning, it matters. Your thoughts become things. Your thoughts become things. So if you think that people don't value you and you continue to think that, all you will see is examples of how people do not value you, and ultimately all that will do is have you question your own worth. Your thoughts become things. It starts here, then it goes here, then it goes here, then it goes here, then it goes here, and next thing you know, you have just manifested everything you did not want. Personal development matters. You will have those thoughts go like this, like crazy. Therefore, you must feed another version of perspective to try. These thoughts are going this way. These thoughts are going this way. And when they do this, eventually you'll slow down and get centered so you can listen from here. Something else is speaking that shit into your ear. That is not of you. That is not of your source. But this will not shut up. So what are you going to do to make sure this one doesn't shut up either? It's so important. Personal development is so important. Personal development is so important. It's so important. It's so important. I'm going to give you one book. You listen to that book or you read that book and you will understand so clearly why personal development is so important. It is also the book that I picked back up this week. Thank you to the same mentor. Outwitting the Devil. There's a whole audio on YouTube for free. Outwitting the Devil. Just listen to the first 2 chapters. And you'll understand exactly why personal development is so important. Fear will block you from your blessings. Fear will have you believe things that are not of you and do not serve you. Personal development is so important. And this just goes back to that purpose that purpose-driven life, that high-standard life, right? That solution-based life, that next-level life, that press-forward life, that resilient life, that stay crazy, be crazy life, the ultimate life. People will misunderstand you. People will expect things from you that are opposite of what you were doing, that you thought was serving. People will judge you. People will blame you. You know? And why do I know this? Not because I've been judged, blamed, or attacked, because I have judged, blamed, and attacked myself to the same person I'm telling you has been holding for me now. So if at any point right now you're saying, that's not me, everybody's doing that to me, you attract what you are. And that was a big ass pill for me to swallow. So I think that's it as far as what I really wanted to make sure that I got out. And again, those of you that have been on, I love you guys. Thank you. I really wasn't paying attention to time of God is very important. Time to reflect what you would want, change, need. Yeah, absolutely. Because I just wanted to share and express. And again, this expression for me is part of my therapy. Expressing is important to me. I posted yesterday on a post that said, one, if support was a love language, it would be at my very top. Support is so big for me. Only because I grew up high accomplishments, minimal support, not because of lack of love or desire, but the lack of time and money. Right? So I know what it feels like. And sometimes you can go two ways. When you have trauma in your life, right? You can go two ways from the trauma. I know what it feels like to feel completely unsupported. So, one, you can go the route of not caring about anybody else because you have a chip on your shoulder and you're bitter because nobody ever cared about you growing up. So you don't need nobody. You don't want to lean on nobody, and you don't want to give everything to anybody. It's just you, and it's all about you, and you got this because you had to make your way by yourself all your life. And so that's just who you're going to be. Or you can go, I know what it feels like, and I would never want to be the reason why anybody would feel that way for me. So, support is number one for me. It's up there. And the real love language test for me, words of affirmation. So that really can go hand in hand, you know? It really can go hand in hand. But there was something else I got off the tangent of love languages, but there was something else I was speaking about that led me there. But yeah, support's a big one. So thank you guys for being on. But for me expressing, that's what I was saying, like expressing words of affirmation, right? But being able to express and talk through what I'm learning, what I'm experiencing. I used to be very, very blocked, very stubborn, walls up, never apologizing, never showed any type of vulnerability. And in the work that I've done now, I'm on the extreme opposite side. Constantly, yes, exactly. Constantly, I just got sidetracked again. That's what happens. See, we do things and then I freaking get sidetracked. But expressing, constantly sharing where I'm at, what I'm doing, what I'm learning is a therapy for me. And I'm not really able to talk about it until I know that I'm having the breakthrough or learning the lesson or getting through whatever the process, the healing process was. So that's what this was for me. And so I just thank you guys for being on, for supporting, for engaging, for listening. I hope that this served you. That is another reason why I do things. This was very uncomfortable for me, but I hope that it served you, because at the end of the day, that is my purpose, is to serve. Find a way to serve the many. If you go back in history, I have many posts where I was on stage and it was all about that. Find the way to serve the many. And this is another platform. I believe in social media where we can serve the many. and we can teach as we go, and also show that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to show that you're not perfect. What's important is you continue to get up, and it's progression over perfection, and it's 1% better every single day. And it's okay if you feel, it's okay if you have emotions, it's okay if you break down. That only means a breakthrough is coming, but you cannot let those feelings and emotions become you. Every time you get better at shortening that time from the bounce back, right? How long does it take you to get back on routine, to get back to yourself? Every single time, just work on shortening it. Less and less days. From months go to weeks, and weeks go to days. And that's it. Love you guys. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend.